Second story of the day is about CNN analyst Areva Martin and Patriot, aka Fox News contributor, aka Sirius XM radio host David Webb, both of whom I've never heard before, so congratulations, not from me, but from others as well. You probably just got 50 times more famous because now everyone's talking about you. So whether you're Areva Martin or David Webb, you guys are probably going to get more money and more success in your career now. Anyway, I guess David Webb has a XM Sirius radio platform called, The Patriot, or that's the name of the channel. And he had on CNN analyst Areva Martin, both of which are black or African American or whatever word doesn't offend people. They were both transitioning human beings, non-binary, genderqueer, interracial, beige people. I think that might not offend anybody, but they were both black. And so this is a direct quote transcript. They said, he said, "How do I have white privilege?" So I guess she just right out the bat was like, Fox News contributor, like he loves America, he loves this country, he must be white. He said, "How do I have the privilege of white privilege?" And she said, "David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege." And they said, "Areva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black." Uh-oh, CNN host. It doesn't really matter, though, because they have no shame. These people have no accuracy. There's nothing that you could really say or do to get through to them. They've lived their whole lives this way. It's just really hilarious. And I want to say as well, I wanted to bring up one of my favorite clips that's viral on World Cloud. Maybe I'll share it later today. I share it once a month because it's so hilarious. My friend Lee Peterson was interviewing a black woman who was a recipient of affirmative action, and they were debating about white privilege. It's just such a good debate. This is what they should teach in racial classes. I mean, they could teach whatever they want, but of course it's always like leftist propaganda. They should show this clip. This is like the best clip I've ever seen. Jesse's talking about white privilege, and he's like, "What is white privilege? I don't know what it is." And then she's like, "Are you serious?" And then he's like, "What is it? Tell me what it is." And she's like trying to explain it, but she can't figure out how to explain it. Jesse's black, if you guys don't know, and she's black as well. And she just assumed that he would like love white privilege just because he's black, but Jesse is like hilarious. He definitely breaks the narrative. So then he asks her, he's like, "What do you think about affirmative action?" And she was like, "Oh, I love it, blah, blah, blah." And then he says, "Were you a product of affirmative action?" Affirmative action means they basically lower the bar. If you're black or Hispanic or whatever, I guess not white or Asian pretty much, they'll let you get into college because they want to help you get in because of, socioeconomic problems and such. I get the concept of it. I'm just giving you an example now. That's a whole different debate. But she says, she says, "I love affirmative action. I'm a product of it. I'm a proud product of it." And then he's just like, "Well, she's like, my father, this and that, went to Harvard back in the 1960s or 70s. And then he's like, "Did your father have affirmative action?" And she's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Well, if it was back then no, he didn't." So her father, during the social rights peak, got into Harvard under his own merit. She needed affirmative action to get into whatever school she went to. So the irony behind this whole argument, and it plugs into what happened here with the CNN host and David Webb, is this is what the word privilege means. I got this straight out of the dictionary, Google free dictionary online, whatever. A privilege is a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available to a particular person or group. So a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available to a particular person or group. This is what she actually got. She had a special right and an advantage because she was black. If she was white or Asian, or maybe Hispanic, who I don't know what they're doing anymore, but she wouldn't have actually probably got into college. So she literally was privileged. She used her black privilege to get into a college via affirmative action. And reading the definition of privilege, immunity granted, this sounds like pretty much everybody besides like men and white men nowadays, or Christian men. I don't know. It's like if you're a black guy, you win some days, but most days you don't win. It's like Kevin Hart, even Ellen. It's like if you say the truth, they're coming for you. It really doesn't matter what it is. But people use their immunity like woman immunity. Imagine if Gillette, people asked me to talk about the Gillette commercial, even though I already did. The Gillette commercial was like, "A best a man can get," and then it was all like anti-man propaganda. It literally made men look like they're terrible and they're all rapists. Imagine if the roles were reversed and they did that to women. They were like, a best a woman can get, and they were like, women, always mooching off the men, taking half of Jeff Bezos' wealth. Women, what's the deal? How come you guys don't work the dangerous jobs where everybody gets killed? Women, how come you guys take half in divorce courts and, men never win because women have the advantage in court? Women, imagine if they did a Gillette commercial like that. You wouldn't be able to do it. You'd be called a sexist, racist, supremacist, every name under the sun, and your whole company would tank under and get destroyed. It's because women have a privilege. There's a privilege to being a woman nowadays. I'm not crying about it. Here's the thing about privilege. Everyone has it in some ways. There's certain privileges you get in society for being black. Affirmative action being one of the clear ones. There's certain privileges you get into society for being a woman. You get free things a lot more often. You get advantages, and there's certain things you could play the system for when you're a woman. And there's certain things you can't. You're not going to be in the NBA. Sorry, Lisa Leslie. You're not as good as Michael Jordan. I love Lisa Leslie. She's great, but she's not as good as LeBron because men are better at basketball. They're more physical. I'm sorry. That's just the truth of things, and no one really wants to hear that. So men have certain privileges. Women have certain privileges. White people have certain privileges. Black people have certain privileges. Hispanics have certain privileges. If you're super white and you look like you're from Greenland, and you go into a super Spanish neighborhood that's maybe not very welcoming to your kind, you'd want a Hispanic privilege there. To be honest, I have the privilege of looking ethnic. Everybody thinks I'm them. Muslim people think I'm Muslim. Armenians think I'm Armenian. Hispanics think I'm Hispanic. I am part Hispanic, but white people think I'm white. I mean, I'm clearly not black. I guess I don't have that privilege, but there's a privilege to looking certain ways. Like if you're super white, there's probably social situations that benefit you. If you're super black, there's probably social situations that benefit you. If you're people don't know what you are like me, there's certain situations, it's okay to have privileges. I get the idea that they're trying to level out the playing field, but in such, they've lost all, touch with reality. It's like women do have privileges. Yes, men do have privileges, but for a black woman host to call a black man privileged when she thought he was white, it just shows that CNN and all of these liberal outlets and others, they don't judge people by content of character. They have no scope of who you are. How can I go at your argument? They just throw race, religion, gender at everything and then claim that they're not the racist and sexist ones. Now I understand, not to throw a low blow, but low-key I'm going to do it anyway. I understand how the KKK was really a Democratic Party operative front to pressure Republicans back in the day and black, Americans. I see it now. I don't think the parties have flipped. I think they've just got sneakier in their tactics. They were more open with it. Now that the demographics of America have changed, they're sneakier. They do the same racist and labeling tactics as they always did. They just do it in a lot more of a sneaky way. And on that note, I want to say, before I move on to the third story, when I go at liberals or progressives and I talk about them, although I make jokes and of course I'm not immune to making mistakes, I always try to find the best progressive. I make the pitch, I'm like, find me the best liberal or the best progressive. Find me Bill Maher on television to the most woke progressive. And I try to attack progressive. I don't attack, but I try to attack the argument with the best of the best. I say, is this the best you have? This is the best you have? And they're both lying? I can take the best. Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, Jimmy Dore to Bill Maher. I take the peak of the peak and say, I still don't understand why they lie and nobody on the left cares about it. I'm not saying they always lie, but sometimes. Anyway, what liberals do and what this woman does and all these, they take the worst of the worst. It's called a strawman argument or a scapegoat to some. They take the worst, craziest, white supremacist, terrible guy, and they say, look at this. This is all of you. Look who you are. Look who you are. Look who you are. And you're just like, that's not who I am. That's not who tens of millions of people are. That's not who Trump is. They try to drag you down to the worst instead of lifting you up to the best and trying to beat your argument. It's because they can't intellectually hang with conservatives. When I went to Politicon, I saw like liberals there confused because half of the Trump supporters there were like black and Hispanic, and the black and Hispanic Trump supporters literally had like American flags wrapped around them and like had this crazy patriot gear, and it was hilarious because like you could tell these liberals were like, what? So many black and Hispanic conservatives who love this country? I don't understand. Like their programming was like malfunctioning, and I was like, yes. There's millions of people like that. There's 52 million Hispanics in America. I mean, look at how many voted for Trump. Not 0%, not 10. I think it was like 20, 30, 40 maybe. But like that's millions of people. That's millions of Hispanic people who don't agree with you. That's millions of black people who don't agree with you. And to me, I don't care what the gender or the race is. Like, is it true? Is it not? Is it a good person? Is it not? I have friends of all genders and ethnicities, and I strictly judge them all on the same basis of like, are they annoying? Are they fun? Are they, is it a bothersome to chill with them? Or are they good friends? It's very simple. I don't understand why the left can't do that. And they have to throw these faulty privilege charges at black conservatives. It's like you can't win with these people. They're like, we love black people. And then you're like, I love, being free. And they're like, well, you're a bad guy now. You gotta, it's like, just stop. Stop already. I don't know how these people are going to stop though. Third story is a little bit more of a controversial one.